Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Big Bus. Today, we're going to have a discussion on multiple questions, and so Asim is going to answer some of them, and I am going to answer some of the questions that we've been getting and have. So, my first.
And then we will have a poll of who gave the better answers.
Yeah, of
At
course.
the end of the day, we'll have a poll.
My first question would be, there are multiple clients that come to you and ask for their recommendations, where they should invest, and you do your whole homework and everything on it. And then after all that effort you put in them, they just ghost you. What is your take? What do you do with those kind of clients?
You're talking about clients, okay. I thought you were talking somewhere from a chapter in your life. Okay. Listen, I had the same issue. I had a lot of clients initially. You see, because even if you read these statistics, people who call you, they are not necessarily going to buy from you.
Correct.
Necessarily, they will never come and buy from you.
Correct.
So that's a given scenario. You give them the whole detail, you tell them everything, and at the end of the day, they would tell you, they would mull over it and come back to you, which most of them do not.
Correct.
So I have a sort of fail-safe in this condition. I keep that line of communication open. I keep on touching base with them.
Okay.
And if they try and ghost me, I will give it a rest for a couple of days. And after a week to 10 days, I will send them a very nice email.
Okay.
This is what you need to hear now.
Okay.
Dear Miss Angela, if you're the client, dear Miss Angela, I hope you're doing well.
Okay.
Full stop. I've tried to reach out to you a couple of times, however, could not connect. New line. Have you given up on that dream house that you wanted to buy? That's it.
Correct.
Best regards, Asim.
Yes, I think that's a good way to
So
approach it.
a lot of people
Yeah.
would still ignore that, but
that's
there is a substantial number that would not like to see, oh, have I given up on my dream? Will actually react to that. And that reaction is in their favor as well.
Yes.
Try this the next time and see how the results are.
I definitely will.
A lot of our clients asks us to define what type of developers are there, what are the basic categories of developers that are present in Dubai, and who should we initially consider if I'm a first time buyer
For investment, yes.
for investment. So what do you think in this regard?
So I would say that first they should make their mind up on what exactly they want.
That's a separate discussion.
Yeah.
We're talking about define the category. So for example, there are two categories of developers.
Okay.
I would say the first category is the one who are in the business of making master communities,
Correct.
and they have independent buildings as well. They're master developers. I'll give you an example of this. MR, Dubai Properties, Nakhil, you have Shobha,
Yes.
Dimak. These are master, they build master communities. And then there's a second tier of developers that do independent projects. So for a first time buyer, added security is always going to be with the master communities and the master developers, because their chances of delay are minimal.
Correct.
The chances of not delivering now with the new setup in Dubai and the escrow accounts, that is a subject we should touch upon.
Yes.
How does that work actually? A lot of people who come from abroad, from India and Pakistan, know there is escrow account, but how does that escrow account actually work? It's another topic we'll cover. So based on that, I would always advise them, listen, go for a master developer and go for a master community, because once, for example, your townhouse is made, there's a price augmentation. Then if you have the sub community which is now coming up and developed and delivered,
Correct.
you again have a price increase. And once your master community is complete, you have another jump in the price.
Correct.
So it is done in phases, and each phase will provide you with an augmentation in price. So that's what I would advise them.
Correct.
Now let's talk about escrow accounts. So what is an escrow account as far as the real estate development is concerned, and how does it work? And what added benefit does it provide? For example, if you compare it to a project that is being made in Karachi. A project is announced. When it is announced, the developer starts the marketing process.
Correct.
Funds are supposed to be given and collected from the buyers, and then the construction process starts. Right? The
Yes.
marketing is done from the developer's own account, and land acquisition, and then the marketing is done, and everything happens in that manner. However, the progress is not counter-checked by any government body.
That's correct.
So what you have is a project being delivered, a project being delivered late, a project might not have the same features and facilities that were promised on the day one, and the standard may vary.
Yes.
I mean, I'm
That's
talking very like
yeah, that's
the
true.
basics. I'm not saying this is happening across the board, but in substantial number of projects that has happened.
Correct.
Okay,
That's true.
so in Dubai, now you have firmly in place escrow system.
Yes.
The developer has to go and buy that piece of land from his own money. Between 40 to 60% of the construction cost is supposed to be put in that escrow account by the developer.
Okay.
Once he does that, the land is bought, escrow account is settled, then he can actually start
Building.
marketing.
Okay.
You can't even market that project.
Okay.
Now the sales process starts. All that client's money is going to the
The
same escrow account for that particular project. If it's a master developer, they have 10 accounts, or they have 10 buildings that are coming up. Each separate project and building will have the separate escrow account, and each escrow account, they have to be managed separately and in accordance with the construction progress.
Okay.
Now, the project is 40% complete. The developer will go to Dubai Land Department
Okay.
and tell them, please come for the inspection. DLD will go, send a team for the inspection. The inspection is done. You come to know that yes, the project is 40% actually complete. So 20% payment will be released to the developer from that.
Okay.
Right? So even if the project is delayed a bit, you will never have a chance where you now will never hear a story that X, Y, Z developer has vanished and has run away with the client's money.
That's correct.
Because that's what they have put themselves in the escrow account, and they cannot take it out. So if you understand this process, that will give you a lot of security as far as investment in real estate in Dubai is concerned.
Okay, so one of the questions that I would like to ask you is that nowadays there are a lot of investors coming to Dubai, and there's a lot of developers in the market, hundreds of projects, and which also confuses a lot of people, like where they should invest.
It should confuse them. That's
Yeah.
why we are here.
So,
Our bread and butter is to remove that confusion.
so how would you tackle that situation? I mean, like, someone is confused, where should I invest? So many developers, so many projects. What would you tell them? How do you explain them projects?
Well, you see, it's a very good question. There are people, when somebody comes to them, for example, I come to you and I ask you, is it a good time to invest in Dubai? Is it a good time to invest in real estate?
Yes.
What would be your answer?
It's always a good time.
It's always a good time. I would respectfully differ with you in this. I need to, for example, if you ask me, Asim, I want to invest in Dubai. Is it a good time? I would say depends on your circumstances, and I need to there's no yes, it's always a good time. That's a standard answer. And it depends. Again, it's a standard answer. It's like copy paste answer.
Correct.
Yeah, it depends. Depends on what? You have to clearly communicate with the client. On a previous episode, we were talking about the clarity in communication.
Correct.
That has to be there. That person might not have all the dynamics clearly explained to them. So they will have so my answer would be, what, Angela, if you're a client, I would say, what is your intention? Are you looking to invest and within 6 months to a year to 2 years down the line, you'd like to exit? That's a different strategy.
Correct.
Or you want to put foundations or roots in Dubai and you'd like to buy a home which you will live in the subsequent 8 to 10 years, and you'd build that home, beautify that, you'll modify that home. So if that is the intention, that's a separate discussion that we need to have.
Yes.
So there are no standard answers like, okay, do this or do that, or just buy.
I also think like someone coming here like for investment purposes, like there are options for that. Then if someone is coming to live here, there's a separate option for that. They would prefer something that is ready and move in immediately.
If you're willing to come here and live, I will quote you something from that would spark another debate, but something from Rich Dad Poor Dad. Invest to rent, rent to live. But that's a different discussion.
Yeah.
So people, if they come and they say, okay, I want to buy at one point in time my dream home, and that dream home is 5 to 7 million dirhams, for example, hypothetically speaking, I'm going to wait till I have that. I would say, don't wait. You are earning right now. You have a certain amount of saving.
Correct.
Do not consider that as dormant saving. Let your money work for you.
Correct.
So real estate ownership means that even while you're sleeping, your money is working for you.
Correct.
So invest in that studio. Invest 4 to 500,000 in properties, and keep on augmenting that.
Correct.
Keep on increasing your portfolio till the time you can actually take the leap for that dream home that you're talking about. So invest in that. People, and if you want to live, then it's your call. You would say, I would like to live by the beach. I would like to live, for example, in Jumeirah. Now, majority of Jumeirah is non-freehold.
Correct.
So you like living there, invest your money somewhere, take the rent, and your rent should be equivalent or slightly adjustable to that. And from the property that you have purchased and rented out, you can live in Jumeirah.
Correct.
You can live by the beach. If you want to live, for example, in non-freehold areas, that's your option. You can rent it there. And if you want to live on the palm and you don't have maybe 30 million, 35 million to buy that villa, what if you invested small chunks that you had in other areas, and the rental income that is generated from there is actually compensating for half or more than half or 3/4, or if ideally not the complete rent for palm, at least it's contributing towards that.
Correct.
So think of these things in that line as well.
So what I get from the conversation is that
There are no
you
cookie cutter answers for everybody. It's not a
exactly
standard thing.
you have to understand what exactly they want and then put
Exactly.
them
Then
towards
guide
a
them. You see, we are not in the
project.
business. Companies like us, whose motto is to build relationships for a lifetime, we are not only selling properties, as I said before, we are selling solutions.
Correct.
So you have a set of problems, you have a problem, you have money, where do I invest? That's a problem. I need to find you respective solution for that. Is specifically applicable to you under your circumstances.
Correct.
And I need to ask you a lot of questions to understand that circumstance and then provide you with a solution.
That's how you're able to give them a development
You see,
and a property.
exactly. They can go to the developer.
Yes.
They can find a salesperson there. That salesperson will sell them.
Just what they have.
Let's not say they would sell them whatever they have. They would again advise them. Are you sure that that salesperson would be there 6 months, 1 year down the line, and they have their own targets to meet?
Correct.
And then their property is the one that is available to that particular developer during that period of time.
For a limited time, yes.
I mean, like, can the Mac sell something for MR?
No.
No, they would not be able to. So you go to the Mac, you are restricted to all the projects within the Mac. Right?
Correct.
You come to us, we will provide you with the best possible solution, and we will get you that unit that you want, that the developer staff may or may not be able to sell you.
Correct.
Or may not want to sell you.
Okay. So I would like you to explain us the concept of buy to rent and rent to live from the book of
Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
yes.
Okay. According to the philosophy from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which we were discussing, the concept is buy to rent, rent to live. Buy to rent means what people are fixated. I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to live there myself.
Correct.
Nothing wrong with that. But that means their aspiration is for X number of years to wait, keep on compiling that money. And in the meantime, what happens, as your savings that you're going to put in for that dream home, as your savings are increasing, the cost of that house is also increasing.
Correct.
And there's always a gap. And after 10, 15 years, you realize, okay, I'm not saying this happens to everybody, but generally after X amount of years, you will find out, oh, I'm not able to meet that criteria. So I have to settle for something now. I don't want my clients to settle for anything. You have money right now, invest it somewhere in real estate. Let that money work for you. If the price of that dream home is increasing consistently, so is the price for your place which you bought to rent. You bought a studio. Do you think if you bought a studio in a nice place with a nice view, do you think its price is not going to increase? Do you think its rent is not going to increase? It will also increase.
Yes.
The problem comes that we settle, oh, I'm going to either buy a dream home or I'm going to invest in some areas, and I'm not going to pick and choose that property based on the criterias that we know.
Correct.
What view does it have? What floor is it on? Which building is it in? How the prices of that particular property have been for the last 5 to 7 years. What is the DLD report for that? What was the last transaction done at? And they would say, I would buy a property and then, oh, I got my fingers burned in Dubai real estate because I bought something without carrying the due diligence, without carrying out the due diligence. So do you think that's viable? No. Come to an experienced real estate consultant.
Correct.
Talk to them. give them your scenario, and then take their guidance
Correct.
and act on it, and then give them the responsibility that, okay, I'm trusting you, not with my eyes closed, with my eyes open. After doing your due diligence, I trust you to us, and then you help me in building my portfolio. That person will also know that you are now in sync with them, because now you're not just selling them a property, you're building their portfolio, which you are going to manage.
Correct.
Right? So you understand the whole concept.
Yes.
And that would entail that both the buyer and the real estate professional go hand in hand for a subsequent number of years.
Correct.
And that's how synergies are formed and developed. Angela, one more thing that was in the news and would be very helpful for you to know and understand and probably relate to your clients as well. That would give you and them much more clarity on the way Dubai is going towards the future.
Okay.
So Dubai is now number one in greenfield opportunities, right?
Okay.
So you need to understand, we have overtaken Singapore. When I say we, mean like Dubai. And greenfield direct foreign investment is going to come here.
Okay.
So you need to understand what's greenfield direct investments. For example, take the example of Ford. If Ford wants to come here, they're not going to go and join forces and do a JV with somebody. They would set up their facilities here right from the scratch.
Okay.
Okay, so that means a lot of their senior people will be coming, their staff would be coming, the housing, the infrastructure, the jobs that will be created here. So in the first half of 2023, 511 greenfield direct investment opportunities are going to come. They have already come, and that is going to propel the property market in a positive direction. The impact it will have is very evident, and that should also be a source of comfort for the people who want to invest in Dubai.
Thank you all for watching. See you in the next episode.